Evening, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone outside and in between. My name is Smokey Fontaine, and this here is Smoking Skeleton Pictures, episode 815. Now, I have two things I would like to address before we begin our program today. First of all, as you've probably noticed, we're not in our usual set. That's because I'm out and about traveling the world trying to track down one of our old lost episodes, and I've got a good lead on one. My travels have brought me here, to the Palace Station Hotel Casino. There's a frequent visitor of this establishment who I believe may currently hold the physical copy of one of our old episodes. Right now I'm trying to win it back from him. So far I've had no such luck, but you can bet your last dollar that I'm going to get that episode and upload it to this channel as soon as I can, and I'm very excited about that. Now secondly, we have something more serious to talk about. It's possible that you saw, a couple days ago, my old parent company, Verdant Productions, uploaded a video directly calling out my new YouTube channel. Now, this was distressing to me because Verdant Productions does not like to be loud. They like to operate in the shadows and be a whisper, run their shows without most people even knowing they exist. So when they made their own channel and their own logo and put their name on it and called me out by name, well, that was very distressing indeed. Now, I don't want to get into any more legal scuffles with them. I've had enough of those as is. But I'm also not the type of man who lets somebody run around telling lies about him, so there's some things from that video I need to talk about. First of all, they said that when we sued them for our independence, we did so without base. That is a lie. Verdant Productions is a bully. They like to make their shows move in a certain direction whether or not they want to. They tried to do the same to us, and we wouldn't take it, so we left. Second of all, they said that they would take legal action against me if I continued to claim that they burned down my old copies, and I never did any such thing. I said that there was suspicious timing. I said that everybody can make their own conclusions. I have my opinion, you probably have yours. But I never accused anybody of doing anything, and I stand by that. Third of all, they said there's no other copies of any of the episodes anywhere in the world. Well then, what in the hell am I doing here? There are copies, and I will find them, and I will upload them, because now they're mine. Speaking of my show, let's actually get to that now that the drama's done. Today we've got a good episode for you. Our friends over at You Cook sent us over something new. Pizza Pocket, I think it's called. Now, I know I was very critical of You Cook last time, but my crew assures me that there's something special here, so let's watch and see if we can find it. Enough of my yapping, enough of my nonsense. Let's just roll the film and get to it.
Welcome back to a new season of You Cook. I'm your host, Simon Nowak. Welcome back to my kitchen. This episode, we'll be making pizza pockets. The first ingredient is pizza dough. I'll be using this $1 pizza mix, but you can use any pizza dough mix you have. We have a special recipe. I say special, it's just a regular pizza dough recipe in the description that you can use if you don't want to use this $1 mix. For toppings, we have shredded cheese. I'm using mozzarella and pepperoni. And lastly, oil and pizza sauce for dipping. Our first step will be making our pizza dough. But before we get started, you're gonna wanna preheat the oven to 425. Now, moving on to actually making the pizza dough. This pizza mix only requires to add half a cup of warm water. So, just pour the pizza dough in here. I think that's all of it. It is all of it. And you just throw it out into the trash. And next, you just want to grab a half cup of warm water. Now you're going to want to get your hands in there and mix the dough around. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty because you can't eat without making your hands a little dirty. After you form your dough, you're going to want to cover it up and let it sit for about 5 minutes. Next, after the dough has been sitting for about 5 minutes, you're going to want to take some flour and cover a surface So when we form the dough, it doesn't stick to the surface. You know, you don't have to use too much flour because then that'll also stick to the dough and it'll make your dough just bad. You won't be able to put it all together later. So you just take your dough, scoop it out, just drop it on the surface. After you form your dough, you want to get to the point where you could toss it between your hands and it doesn't leave any sticky dough back on your hands, but it's not too dry to where you can't feel the moisture. After that, you want to take off a smaller piece because we're only rolling off small chunks at a time, and flour up your rolling device. We have a cup. You could have a rolling pin. We don't have that, so I'm using this cup. You just want to start rolling it off. If it starts sticking, you could add more flour to it, but honestly, you could just keep rolling and it'll work. Now you want to get it down pretty thin because we're not making an actual pizza, we're making a pizza pocket, so it doesn't have to be nice and thick. Next step after rolling out your dough is you want to cut it into a nice, good sized rectangle. It depends on how big you really want to make these pizza pockets. And you can take the axis off and just put it back onto your old dough for more later. Take your toppings and you want to just lay them out however you want, as many as you want. You don't want too much because then you won't be able to close your pizza pocket. Then you want to cut some strips. We'll see what we'll do with them later. Then you want to take these strips and connect them across. This is what forms our actual pizza pocket. You can literally just pinch them together and it'll work. After you've pinched them together, you're going to want to pat down and pinch the ends too, so we don't have any of our insides or ingredients, toppings, to spill out. After you've made the rest of your pizza pockets, I made 6. You're going to want to lather up your pan with oil so it doesn't stick to it while it's baking. And then as a final touch, add a little bit of oil to the top of your pizza pockets. So there's not like a really bland taste with it. The dough's really cheap that we have and frankly does not taste that well, that good. Now, we're gonna put them into the oven for 20 minutes. Put it in the lower top half, and we're good. After 20 minutes, you're gonna wanna pull out our pizza pockets, and you want them to look this nice golden color. And now, time to plate them. And I'm adding some pizza sauce on the side to dip in because we don't have any pizza sauce in the actual pizza pocket. And there you have it. And that's it for this episode of You Cook. Enjoy.
Maybe cooking shows just aren't my cup of tea, you know? No disrespect to anybody who worked on You Cook or who watches You Cook. My crew watches You Cook. That's why I put it on my show. I trust them. They pick out content that our audience is going to enjoy. I just prefer something a little more lively, different speed. Now, before we wrap up for tonight, I do have one more thing I'd like to say about that Verdant Productions video. I want to thank all of you. You had a certain type of reaction to that video that I really appreciated. Made my show feel loved. So thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed that film that we showed for you today. Maybe go home and make yourself a pizza pocket. And until next time, good night, good times, and good dreams.